Hey friends, in today's video, I'm going to share with you, I'd say, the evolution of my 401k during my debt-free journey. Let's get started. Well, wait a minute. Before we get started, if you aren't already subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing by hitting the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when I post new videos. And feel free to share the content. If you know someone who's working on becoming debt-free or possibly should be working on becoming debt-free, maybe that's none of your business, but I know sometimes I'm a little intrusive in that way myself. Feel free to introduce us by sharing this channel with them. Or maybe you don't want people in your business knowing that if you share it, they'll be like, well, why would you be watching someone named Debt-Free D? Are you in a lot of debt or something? Hey, that's none of their business. If you like the videos and leave a comment, YouTube will pick up the video and share it with people who may have like interests or this information needs to get in front of. So that way you're doing me a favor as well. If you like or comment in the video, y'all have seen the social dilemma. Y'all know how this works. For those of you who are subscribed to the channel, you like, you comment, you share. Thank you so much. You rock. You already know that though. Okay, on to my 401k. In June of 2017, I started the baby steps. And at the time, I was gleaning so much information from Dave Ramsey, watching him on Facebook and YouTube Live. And one day, there was the topic of continuing your 401k contributions while paying off debt. And his suggestion was to discontinue 401k contributions while paying off debt. And I was like, what? And I commented, should I stop my 401k contributions? And a lot of people were like, yeah, you should consider stopping your 401k contributions. It was not an easy decision, but it was a decision that I made to stop contributing to my 401k. Look, I get it now more than ever. And there are some of us who did not discontinue our 401k contributions. More power to you. Whatever you decide, I am not here to judge. This is only my story. It's both something that I'm proud I made the decision to do, and I hate to have had to make that decision. But nonetheless, that's what happened. In August of 2017, I stopped contributions, and I thought that I had stopped in my baby step 2, but turns out it was actually in the middle of baby step 1 that I made that decision. And at the time, and I have my notes here, in August of 2017, I was contributing 7%. That worked out to be 5% pre-tax and 2% Roth 401k. So when I stopped, I had $62,000 saved already, invested. Both myself and my employer had contributed to my 401k. And at the time, I just stopped. And at the time I was contributing along a moderately aggressive rate of growth. 86% went to stock and stock funds, 13% to bond and bond funds, and 1% to other, which ended up being a loan I had taken a little bit earlier, which I'll talk about in my debt story on my loans. Not my proudest moment, though it was a necessity at the time. So even though I wasn't thrilled about stopping my 401k contributions and leaving my company's match on the line while I became debt-free, it did become a source of motivation for me to hurry up and get this done so I can start back contributing to my 401k. So as the date was approaching, I set up a meeting with a financial advisor from my retirement company. I had scheduled a meeting and then I had to reschedule it because something came up, and I ended up rescheduling it on the day I was to become debt-free. So the first person I told officially on the day I became debt-free was Derek from my retirement company. And you would think like that may be a lackluster because he hadn't been with me through this journey. Maybe it was more fitting that it would be like my family or friends or you. And it was actually before I'd even recorded my I'm Debt-Free video. But I spoke with Derek, and when I tell you this man made me feel like $1 million. He was just pouring on the compliments. He said, look at what you've done. So many people start, but not everybody finishes, and you have done it. Look at what you have cleared away so that you have a clear focus on your future and building your retirement. I mean, he circled back around over the course of our conversation to just how proud I should be to be consumer debt free. At one point, I told him just to stop because he was going to make me cry. I was very appreciative of his attention to how much that meant to me. And now before even getting on the phone with him, I had written down some questions. I wanted to know what was the best way to give to my company's match. What in or how should I invest? Does my company have mutual funds, Vanguard? Eventually, I'd like to increase to 15% or have a retirement portfolio where I'm contributing at least 15%, which you know is baby step 4. Should I call back to get that increased? Like, how should I make increases? To what accounts? All of these questions I had laid out. And so I was able to ask a lot of these questions. We first started out with, of course, he had my age. And then he wanted to know exactly when I plan to retire. I would love to be able to work till I'm 70, but let's hit about 67, right in the middle of 65 and 70-ish. We took a look at my salary, and we also took into account what my Social Security may be based on my salary, as well as how much of a difference if I want to maintain a particular livelihood by a dollar amount in retirement that I should expect to save for. So my company matches up to 6%, 1.25. Yeah, that's big time. So I knew 6% hands down. So how was I going to balance that? So I decided to go with 3% pre-tax, 3% Roth. So the 3% pre-tax is the traditional 401k, and it reduces my yearly tax bill or my taxable income. And the Roth 401k is after taxes are taken out, and that's a tax-free investment growth because I'm paying the taxes on it now, so it just grows tax-free, and then I withdraw it in retirement tax-free. We were also able to go ahead and schedule a 1% increase year over year, so that once that day comes, my contributions will increase an additional percent. What is taken out of my paycheck will then go into my 401k. I could decide if I wanted that to be pre-tax or Roth 401k. And so before I even got it out of my mouth, Derek said, we should have your 1% increase be on your debt-free anniversary as a way to commemorate you becoming debt-free. And I was thinking it, and he said it. So I thought that was just like another thoughtful notion. So he put that information into his analytics tool. They gave me a suggestion of what my mix of investments should consist of. And so there are certain growth levels. Some of them are very safe, where that may consist more of bonds, less of stocks, all the way to a more aggressive mix of investments, which is mostly stocks, and it's just a bit riskier. And so again, based on my age, how little I have saved, even though I had something saved, how little that is compared to when I plan to retire, and how much I plan to have in retirement to have a successful decades-long retirement, my level was set at most aggressive, with a suggestion of a 9 or 9.5 on a 10-point scale. Yeah, so we went with a very aggressive mix of investments, and that mix includes 95% stock and stock funds, and 5% bonds and bond funds. It's a very diversified mix, which I'll adjust to be less aggressive over time. My company does have mutual funds, so I was excited to hear that. And we talked about maxing out my contributions, but I was putting the cart before the horse on that. And really quickly before I move on, I'm making my contribution to my 401k up to my company's match. I am still in baby step 3 technically, and I am working to save up to 6 months of living expenses, hopefully by the end of the year. At the beginning of the year, I'm going to continue contributing up to my company's match, but I'm looking into getting a Roth IRA. I want to know from you, do you have a Roth IRA? And if you do, where did you get your Roth IRA from, and where would you suggest I get one from? So I've already checked out my credit union. I've already checked out Capital One 360. I am weighing those two, but please let me know. This is very new to me. So any suggestions you have are greatly appreciated. Okay, so September 9th, I wrapped up this call with Derek. I'm just waiting for my retirement company website to reflect the changes that we made. And this reminded me so much of what Susie Orman said in the Ultimate Retirement Guide for 50 Plus. Your best financial advisor is yourself. Because Derek was great. He was wonderful. But instead of adjusting to 3% pre-tax, 3% Roth 401k, he put 6% in pre-tax when I went to look on the website. So then I went in and changed it to what we had talked about. No dig on Derek, but it was important for me to make the adjustments that I had wanted to make. Make sure you check over your stuff. No one's going to care about that more than you. When I started back contributing to my 401k, my balance had grown over the years to $75K. Now, of course, it would have grown much more, hopefully, if I had been in the market during that time. So hear me and hear me good. If you have stopped your contributions to work on becoming debt-free, get that done as soon as possible. Get it done as soon as possible so you can concentrate on planning for your future if that's what you plan to do. The earlier you start saving for retirement, the more you're able to start taking advantage of the time value of money. In the context of saving and investing, compound interest occurs when interest is added to the principal, and then new interest is based on the new principal. So your principal grows and grows, and you gain interest on a greater and greater amount. The more time your money has to grow, the more you benefit from compound interest. So it is in your best interest to start saving as early as possible. Currently, my portfolio consists of 7 stocks, a mix of large companies, small and mid, international, and 1 bond. Again, it's a very aggressive growth profile. And even my Mint app is helping me stay on track. I went in and I created a goal for my retirement. It took my age, when I plan to retire. It took into account what I have in my 401k because I had linked that account. And it's letting me know whether I'm on track, I'm ahead of schedule. So it's nice to see that at a glance as well, just so I make sure it's in front of me and I am keeping track of things. So yes, I am back to investing and it feels really, really good. I want to start out with some probably safer investments, even though again, within my 401k profile, I have a risky mix of investments. I am happy to be contributing something because it was just one of those things I was anxious to get back to. Kicking things back up has been such a learning experience. So if I miss something, please forgive me. I'm learning. That is the evolution of my 401k. It continues to grow and I love to see that because that's how you know something is alive. I know that with the volatility of the stock market, I'm going to see dips as well over this journey of investing, and that's okay as well. Looking at the bigger picture, I am hoping to keep that in perspective. So yeah, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Again, give me some recommendations on that Roth IRA. After I've saved my 6 months living expenses, that's where I'm headed to next, and I'm planning to max out my Roth IRA. Feel free to comment any information you feel will be helpful, not only to myself, but to anyone scrolling through the comments. Feel free. See you next time. Bye.